Yeah, Steve. You with us there, old man?
I'm doing the old man thing. You see that?
Yeah, I was noticing your old manish ways there.
Old manness.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm proud. I'm proud that I've lived these 40 some odd years.
You need a second pair of glasses, though.
No, I need all new glasses.
Yeah.
I think I'm going blind.
Slowly?
Slowly. I think by the time I'm 97, I won't be able to see much of anything.
Probably not. Just pretty much a view of your bedroom, whatever's at the foot of your bed.
Probably a view of the top of the coffin by that time.
I don't know, Alcorn. You're the Sweetwater legend.
Yeah. You're the legend, so.
That's got to give you a plus 30 roll on dexterity or something.
Yeah.
Something.
All right, let's get this fucking show on the road tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
This is a 2-minute warning.
It's a 2-minute warning.
He's being an asshole.
Yeah. Okay.
Once a week, 3 laddies come together from distant lands to talk about Bigfoot, Martians, ghosts, time travel, chupacabras, and the Sweetwater legend.
I think we're all huge fans of the Sweetwater legend.
This is the Fortean Slip. With your host, Chris York.
Say no to Quaaludes? Fuck no. Wait a minute. No. Say yes.
Co-host, Steve Alcorn.
Take a break, shut my camera off,
grab a sandwich.
And sometimes special guest, Matt Knapp.
Just accept it for what it is and just watch it and enjoy it.
They don't know who you are. They don't know what you want. If you're looking for entertainment, you may have come to the wrong podcast. But what they do have is a very particular set of skills.
There are no cows.
No cows?
No.
No cows were harmed in the making of this incident. We often wish that your relationship went much like that of the praying mantis.
I thought that was a reference to everything being green.
Yeah, sure you did. Carry on, gentlemen. I'm going to do something else for a little while.
Wow, Steve, would you like us to stop the program so you continue to do your shit?
You're about to witness the strength of creep knowledge.
Good evening, and welcome to the Fortean Slip. This is episode 119. Loch Ness 2020. You got 2020 Loch Ness vision? Steve?
No. We already established my vision is going. I'm an old man.
The fucking any vision on Loch Ness is as blurry as shit. It's about as blurry as every fucking Bigfoot photo.
I think that's just part of their makeup. They tend to be blurry, just like the Bigfoots is.
Yeah, I think so. I think that could be the case. Could be problems in the world. But be that as it may. Last week we had a bit of a scuffle on the program.
We did?
The program,
I
guess. It and I just want to address it for the simple fact that it isn't that I didn't want to not associate with Richard, but at this time I just don't think that I can. I don't think I'm capable. Let's put it that way. I'm far too fucking volatile. So I had reached out to him and told him how I felt and that I wanted him to try to reach out and get himself a better support system for himself. So,
anybody depending on you for a support system is probably,
right?
Barking up the wrong fucking tree.
Jesus. But just that was my take on it. That he he really should look into getting himself a better support system. But beyond that, and moving on with the show, I got to check out one of my new favorite movies over this past week, Steve. Twice.
You're talking about movies. I don't know nothing about movies.
Leviathan.
The one you told me about.
The 1989 smash, amazing, wonderful hit in my brain. Probably did horrible in theaters and sucked a bag of dicks everywhere else. But I was looking for something to watch the other day, and I came across the Peter Weller vessel. Yes, RoboCop. Which is Leviathan. In this movie, for any of you who has not seen Leviathan, I recommend it. Just strap in for every fucking horror movie cliche you've ever fucking seen, pretty much played out on screen right in front of your fucking eyes. It was so bad, it was awesome. It had everything I wanted. It had a fucking monster. It had fucking alien chest bursters from Alien. It had fucking sharks. It had Jaws references. It had fucking, it looked like The Thing. It was everything I wanted it to be, Steve. Everything.
And a lot less. Or a lot more.
It was too much.
But you loved it. I mean, you loved it so much.
I adored it.
You felt it necessary to send me a link to the video.
I did.
I promised I would never watch it.
I know. And you won't.
Sounds awesome.
Because
I love that shit.
I loved one of my favorite sci-fi horror movies of all time is Alien. And this is so reminiscent of Alien. It rips Alien right the fuck off blatantly. It's so obvious.
Was it meant to do that, or they just?
I think they did it intentionally. In my own opinion. I mean, I don't know that for a fact. I haven't had a discussion with the people that made that film, but I believe that they completely ripped off Alien, and like parts of it they rip off The Thing. It's like I said, it's so bad it's good. It's got fucking Hector Elizondo. Fucking who doesn't love fucking Hector Elizondo? Great character actor from the 80s. Friggin' Daniel Stern, the other guy that isn't Joe Pesci from Home Alone. Fucking Ernie Hudson.
Oh wait, Daniel Stern.
Yeah,
I'm in, man. I love that guy.
Daniel Stern, fucking Ernie Hudson, the other Ghostbuster. You know, and Peter Weller, fucking RoboCop. No, and I almost forgot. You can't have, a bad sci-fi on the water movie without your Roy Scheider lookalike, Richard Crenna, the fucking man, the myth, the legend, who plays the Doc, as he should, in the movie. But I love this fucking film. And you should too, Steve. You should.
I'll fit some time into my busy schedule to watch this.
Even fuck Dean Cooper says, yes, Chris, it sucks so bad it was good. Even fuck Dean Cooper.
I think Matt will be joining us here shortly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are you trying to stir shit already?
Oh, the game's over.
Oh. Yeah.
He may take a few minutes. He may be in a celebratory mood, or maybe not. I don't know.
What do you mean you don't fucking know?
I don't know. The score's right over here on the other screen. I know what he's doing.
You're such an asshole.
I can't help it.
You're such a dick.
I didn't jinx it. I didn't jinx it for him. That's all I know.
You didn't jinx it for him? No. Okay. I don't know. I don't pay attention.
He's breaking out the cognac right now.
Breaking it out?
Yep.
Having a drink?
Several.
I don't know. I don't know that Matt is a drinker, but but I'm gonna go with it, Steve. Should I go with it?
Sure.
Is it for sure?
Yeah.
Is it as bad as Spaceballs?
The Leviathan movie.
Bearded Picker. Oh my God, my friend. Ooh. See, Spaceballs is Mel Brooks. And yeah.
And the guy from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids was in that, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Rick Moranis.
Dark
I think
Helmet.
that-
He played Dark Helmet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looked like a giant penis on his head, if I remember correctly. Didn't it? Am I wrong?
It was insanely huge, I can tell you that.
Yes.
Yeah, this little guy and fucking Rick Moranis walking around with this humongous fucking helmet on his head. It was great. Rick Moranis, one of those guys who just fucking walked away from showbiz. Just fucking
Because he
Done.
could. Because he could.
done.
He wanted to spend time with his family. He did it. More
Done.
props to the guy.
I guess they tried to get him back for Ghostbusters, and from what I've heard, the word is
Fucking done.
Yeah, done.
What part of done didn't you understand, you motherfuckers? That's what he said to him. I heard.
I guess. Like, I want to know if Matt's fucking drinking.
I'm okay.
Are you drinking?
No.
No.
I mean, some
Did
Coke
you order?
Zero.
Did you order some meth, or I mean, what do you do in Oklahoma when your team wins?
Kansas
I don't
City is
know.
not-
I don't even know what to do at this point.
Yeah. Well, hey.
Yes, Steve.
enjoy
We
it.
know Kansas City's not from Oklahoma.
yeah, I was just trying to figure this one out. I guess it's the closest team, right?
No.
No?
And
Okay.
enjoy it, Matt.
It's just most people in Oklahoma love Dallas,
Oh, God, why?
and I hate Dallas.
I thought everybody did.
No.
I like Dallas when Aikman was still playing. But after that,
Funny story. Funny story, Matt. My ex-wife is a Dallas fan.
Well, I'm glad she's your ex.
is that
The most
why?
previous ex-wife.
Yeah, I was going to ask which one, but
It doesn't matter.
yes.
Yeah.
I don't even watch football and I hate Dallas. I mean, that's pretty bad.
I got no stake in the game either way. I think if it makes somebody happy that their team wins, all good for them. The thing that I don't like is the people that lose their fucking shit and get so fucking pissed off and angry and destructive when they lose.
And fucking refs.
I had a kid when I was in 7th grade when was it the Red Sox or the Patriots lost? He punched me. I'm not even shitting.
It's your
He
fault.
punched me right in the face.
Yeah. I don't understand. I don't understand any of
Because I was like, dude, fucking get over it.
like the fans that go out and riot. Like I've never understood that shit.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
even when their team wins, they go out and like
What, you mean
destroy property
Philadelphia?
and burn shit. Yeah,
Boston.
like all of them. There's like one time, it was the Miami Dolphins. I think they were playing the Oakland Raiders, and the Raiders are notorious for having like over the top fans. And there was like some guy at the game that was like a Miami fan wearing like a Miami Dolphins jacket.
I
And
recall
after
this.
the game, a couple of fans from the Raiders side like beat the shit out of him and like pissed on his jacket.
They beat the fuck out of him.
Yeah, like put him in the hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the type of shit. It's like, what good does this do anyone? I mean, really. I've never understood that type of behavior. I'll never understand it.
But I
Because
do have
those
to say,
people spend like millions of dollars on the teams, and it does the teams good.
I have to say though, if you're going to a Raiders game, you probably should wear your Dolphins jacket. I'm just saying.
Right. You should probably be wearing black. But it's like the closest thing by far. Like football fans and football period is like the closest thing we have to like gladiator Coliseum fucking fights to the death. Like the fans get into it like at that level, especially the drunker they get.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The drunker you get, I've seen some crazy shit. Like I've told you before, I have a couple of cousins that are so diehard. Well, one of them was on the program, Greg.
Yeah.
they're diehard Pats fans, and I've seen the two of them do some of the most outrageous shit on Super Bowl Sunday I've ever seen in my life. They are so diehard and so committed to that team. You know, it's and I was talking to Katie about it before the show. I was saying, you know, my other cousin has told me many times, like, I don't wish this on fucking anybody. This type of commitment to, you know, to something I have no control over. Basically.
Well, I mean, I laughed. Like I've been waiting for this moment forever, my entire life as a fan. But it was just kind of funny because like my cousin called me. He's, like a brother to me. And like he likes the Dolphins and, football's been our thing. And so like he called me and everything. And like at the end of the phone conversation, he said, well, I just wanted to call and congratulate you, man. And I just like, I just laughed because like I didn't have shit to do with anything, but like that's how fans of football are.
Yeah, I just wanted to congratulate you, man.
Yeah. Good job, man. Great season.
You ran all them yards, Matt. Caught all them footballs. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is you're literally just your participation is in watching it.
Yeah.
And appreciating it. And I mean, if it wasn't for the fans, it wouldn't exist. If there weren't any fans, the NFL wouldn't be there.
Oh, no, not at all.
So in a way, yes, the fans are kind of the backbone of it, if you think about it.
Yeah.
But I mean,
at least they're the ones who finance the whole thing.
Right. But the guys are out there, the players, they're the ones doing it.
Yeah.
You just get to enjoy the fruits of their fucking labors, as being the fan.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing I was ever really a fan of was baseball, and I lost my love of that strike in the 90s.
The old strike, yeah.
That fucking ruined it.
That did it for me too.
And but I did come back when the Red Sox won the series. I did it like they were like 3 games in, I think, and I watched the rest of it. 2 or 3 games in. I can't.
Well,
remember.
I mean, you had to.
I didn't have to. I just it got to a point where I was like, yeah, I kind of think I want to watch, and I watched the whole thing.
Well, I'm saying whenever I say you had to, I mean in the sense of like the curse and all that.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Everything, the mysticism built around it and everything.
And my grandfather lived his whole life and never saw them win. And he was a Red Sox fan his entire life. He never ever saw them win the World Series.
Yeah.
And it was just something like I don't know, I kind of felt like I should. I felt like in a way, maybe I kind of felt like I had to. But it was kind of cool. I was like, all right. And then I was done with it. I didn't watch them the next time they were. I was just like, fuck it. This is old hat. I don't need this shit anymore. Back to my regular life. Because,
well, the strike made baseball turn very ugly.
Mm-hmm.
Because we were around the same age, and we were like in love with the idea of, baseball players, and like, playing for the game and all that. And then when the strike happened, you saw like, oh, this is a bunch of bullshit. They don't care about us. Like,
yeah. And did I just read somewhere that the Astros are going to get to keep their title, even though it's been proven that they did some hokey shit?
I don't know. I haven't seen, but like, yeah, I mean, they fucking cheated.
but fucking Pete Rose can't get in the fucking Hall of Fame. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
At this fucking point, listen, people. Those of you who are keeping Pete Rose out of the Hall of Fame, fuck you.
I'm telling you, man, he fucked somebody's wife or something.
Yeah.
And there has to be more to it.
Bearded Picker says, yes, they keep their title. So fuck them.
It's kind of like, McGuire and Sosa and all those guys that like just devastated Barry Bonds, devastated all the hitting records and everything. And then
I'm all for that shit.
Like, oh, look, they're on steroids.
Katie and I were literally talking about this before the show. I was like, I don't care.
But like going
up, crank those balls to fucking Mars. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Because like my whole view of it was like, I mean, you literally had one off season where Mark McGuire went from like looking like a regular guy to coming back from off season looking like a professional fucking wrestler.
Oh my god!
And
Didn't
just
raise-
cranking
raise any
home
eyebrows.
runs. Like,
Like his neck disappeared.
yeah.
It just became his head.
And you wanted to sit there and lie to yourself and be like, oh, he's gotten really good at hitting. Like, no, dude. No. He's taking like horse sperm or something. Like,
Yeah.
Isn't it correct though that the performance enhancing drugs that he was taking weren't actually outlawed by baseball at the time he was taking them?
yeah,
Right.
because nobody had been using them for that, so
Right.
there's no reason to outlaw them.
Yeah,
Right.
a lot of them have skirted shit like that, and people have tried to do that in the UFC as well. The UFC is crazy about how they drug test. Like they can show up at your house like in the middle of the fucking night.
Yeah, but you could
Yeah.
kill somebody. I mean, if you're taking the wrong shit, you could actually literally kill somebody in the UFC.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I mean, it's see, my thing with it is like I'm just let them fucking do it. Just fucking roid them motherfuckers out. Let's have fucking goddamn mutants in the ring. I don't give a shit. Let them do whatever the fuck they want. They're the ones that have to live with it.
Right.
You know, I mean, they're the ones that signing away their life. All of them do it. They're like, fuck yeah, fucking sign on the dotted line. I want to make some money. If people want to do it, and they're gonna do it anyway. I mean, look at fucking Lance Armstrong did it. Fucking how many different fucking baseball players have they caught doing it?
Still. Even
Yeah,
after that whole Mark McGuire thing.
yeah.
Yep.
You know, but we and again, something else I was talking with Katie about before the show was this, and we have no fucking problem when our artists fix shit or our musicians fine tune their voice or use auto tune, but fucking steroids or performance enhancing drugs, fuck you. Can't have that. Can't
Well,
have that.
I think the idea behind that is if only one guy's taking them, that gives him an unfair advantage.
Let them all. Fucking
Yep.
boost them all. That's what I say.
Mandatory drug usage.
Yeah. Fucking fuck it. You're gonna play baseball, you're gonna have arms the size of fucking tree trunks.
Or
Popeye arms.
just have musical artists start doing steroids.
Hey.
So like Bieber can like bust out in a roid rage. Rip some little teenage girl's head off.
Next time he tries to drum off with Questlove,
Yeah.
he fucking runs across the stage and tackles him.
Fuck you, my voice is fine.
Hello. Oh shit. Yeah, as far as like the steroid thing goes, I totally think that they should just fucking fuck it at this point. You know, if you want to do it. If you don't. If you think you can perform up to those standards and fucking beat the shit out of your body for it, I really don't care. It's people doing what it comes down to. What's that whole thing, that personal sovereignty shit. You know, like for me, it's kind of like the same thing with weed. Like it's my body, motherfucker.
Well, there was an NFL superstar, a running back legend that came out of Texas University or whatever, and then played in the NFL and led the league in rushing. Like he was a great player, like one of the best there ever was, but he smoked weed. And they kept on punishing him for it until it finally got to the point where he said, well, fuck you, I quit then. He quit the NFL to go smoke weed.
Yeah.
Like he tried everything too. Like he moved to like Jamaica and like said it was like part of his religious freedoms. Like he tried to find every loophole possible. Like listen, I'll run the football, but I'm not going to stop smoking dank.
Yeah.
And like they wouldn't budge and neither would he. So like he just like ended his career. Just
Yeah.
Fuck them.
fuck them.
But I think we're, as far as like marijuana is concerned, I think we're getting to a point where it's going to get legalized across the board. I mean, fucking Christ, it's in this state. Like, if I go to a dispensary, it's like Willy Wonka's fucking candy factory. If they deliver it to the house, it's like they have the factory in the fucking car.
Well,
So
yeah, I mean,
it's a totally different world now, and it like I just think when it comes to weed, there's gonna be, I think there's gonna be a whole revolution across the country when it comes to it. It's eventually it's gonna happen. It's gonna go across the board. Why it's being held up at this point, I don't understand it. Like, I do not get it at all. But I love how like Maine was one of the first 4 or 5 states to legalize and will be the last one to actually retail sell it. Like, because dispensaries are open here, but the retail shops got fucking had a moratorium put on for like 2 years. You couldn't fucking open one. So that it's supposed to open up in March. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes with that.
You gonna be there on opening day there, Chris?
I don't have to.
Like, no, you don't. You get it delivered to the fucking house. Crazy.
Yeah,
Just think about that. 10 years ago, you would have been fucking put in jail for that shit.
Oh yeah.
Now you can just call somebody. Hey, bring me some weed.
Yeah. There was a time when I would hide it in my fucking car.
But there was a time that shit would have happened if you went and drank a beer. Like
yeah.
But the prohibition on marijuana needs to just end. It's just stupid. Like and some of the states are even going with psychedelics now, which is crazy.
That's a little crazy. Yeah.
No, I think it's crazy that they're making that leap, but I think it's good.
You think it's good, yes. No,
Absolutely,
other people would disagree, obviously. But
Steve, most people are fairly responsible. The thing that you worry about are the outliers. And there are outliers that drink booze, and booze is legal.
It's because I'm from the state of Ohio, where there's a lot of outliers.
Well, that's not my problem.
I'm just saying.
But yeah, I mean, when it comes to like mushrooms and stuff, those should totally be legal. Completely be legal.
In moderation, of course.
Right? See, the thing that you don't understand, Steve, is going in excess with mushrooms. It's not. You're associating one drug with other drugs, and it's not the same.
It's all bad.
Oh, Jesus.
Drugs is bad.
Drugs are bad. Okay. Fuck you, Steve.
That's what they told me in high school. We had the Dare shirts and all that shit. Nancy Reagan. That's what they told me.
Say no to drugs. Yes. The worst drug campaign ever fucking unleashed on the American people.
Introduced millions of kids to drugs who had never seen them before.
Yeah.
The best way to get somebody not to do something is tell them not to. I mean, it always works.
Those old commercials. I learned it from watching you.
But a lot of that shit was based on like people being slaughtered in like Brazil and Mexico and like smuggling in cocaine. That was, the crack epidemic is what launched that, not weed.
Yeah, but weed was always thrown in there, dude.
Well, yeah,
always. Like weed was
the most common.
Yeah, weed is a gateway drug that leads you to crack and cocaine and heroin and eventually death. Like, the fuck?
I learned it by watching you.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It was great, though. That was.
Meanwhile, I never saw my dad smoking weed.
Yeah, it didn't influence me one way or the other, but it made me laugh every time that fucking commercial came on.
Yeah.
Oh, did you have parents or a parent that did drugs?
No, sir.
Then I don't think you should be making fucking jokes about it.
I didn't have parents that smoked either, but then I went and smoked. So,
well, I'm just saying, like, yes, the commercial itself was funny, but the message was true.
The message was true. Yes, you're right.
To some degree, and in some cases, yes. But
It
there's a
tends-
lot of cases where kids see their parents
Yeah.
smoking weed and they're totally adverse to it.
And I think that's probably more common, actually.
Yeah,
Which cases?
there's a lot of them.
But that's just a blanket statement that you don't actually know if that's true or not.
Actually, I do.
Oh, okay. Then you can name some.
He's done the research.
I have a child, and I don't want to name the child.
Okay, but so if your child smokes weed later, then what?
That's a different story. But I mean, as far as like right now goes, that's the case.
So since your child tells you that they're cool with it, you just
I mean,
take
cool.
that as
Cool.
well. I'm saying they act like it doesn't bother them or anything.
No, that's not what I'm saying. No.
Well, you said that the kids aren't adverse to it.
No, I said that there are kids who are adverse to it.
That is what he said.
Which
Who-
is the
who
same.
see their who see their parents smoking and don't
Uh-huh.
like it.
Correct.
Right.
So you're agreeing with me.
I thought Matt was going the other direction with this thing. So
I don't understand
would-
what you're trying to say. What I'm trying to say is that
I'm
I have
trying
a
to
child,
say that, like,
I smoke weed, and I have a child that does not like that I smoke weed.
okay, I took it the other way. Sorry.
Yeah.
I took it as you saying that, like, there's lots of children out there who don't have a problem seeing their parents do drugs in front of them.
oh,
there
no,
are kids like that too.
yeah, I'm sure there are.
I'm sure they exist, but I'm just saying, like, which one would be the majority? Like,
Depends on.
I'm
the drug
just
use, too.
speaking from personal experience, man.
Right. No,
I
I know.
grew up in a situation where I saw my mom doing drugs and it fucked me up.
Yeah, and
You know?
and I'm sure. it does.
But
And
you're all- what-
like whenever I started smoking weed, it had nothing to do with my mother.
Was it just weed
No,
with your mom? So, yeah, that like
but
that's
it was just weed whenever I was a little kid.
But
and
in
like
your
that
mind, as a
bothered me
little,
too.
yeah, but in your mind, as a little
Right,
kid, weed
okay.
was bad.
Yeah.
Right? So
Well, because I didn't even know what it was back then.
right.
I just saw my mom and her friends doing it, and then they'd start acting weird, and it would fucking scare the shit out of me because they, like, you depend on your parents to protect you and keep you safe and everything. And then, like, they get fucked up and you're left to your own devices all of a sudden. And, like, all the adults are acting crazy and fucking doing stupid shit. And you're like, what the fuck? Like, it's scary.
I bet it is.
yeah, and in some cases it can be, and I'm sure in some cases it can be even scarier than what you went through.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, my mom wasn't smoking crack or anything.
I know a lot of people who have done drugs responsibly and had children though, and things are, normal.
Well, see, like my uncle, he went and hid in his bedroom every time he smoked. He didn't smoke around his
Yeah.
kids or anything, but they always knew exactly what he was doing. And, like, we get upset about it.
Yeah, like I said, I think there are kids out there who get upset by it. I think there's kids that accept it, and I think there are kids who are just like oblivious to it. I mean, because kids run the gamut just as well as adults. And I mean, I knew kids when I was younger that didn't give a fuck, and then I knew kids that totally did. That were like, yeah, fuck that. I'm not. I remember kids I used to hang out with. We all smoked cigarettes, but they'd be like, "I'm not doing any of those drugs things. Those are fucking bad for you."
Yeah.
My son was very much against smoking cigarettes, but he
Until
hated
he
the fact.
started.
But and it had nothing to do with me. It had to do with his buddy was a smoker, so he tried it, and now he smokes cigarettes.
Yeah.
So
It's all
sometimes it
whoever
doesn't
they
have to do-
idolize.
yeah.
Whoever
Sometimes it
influences
doesn't have
them,
anything
that's-
to do with the parents.
Yeah.
Whether I smoked or not, he would have probably ended up smoking. You know,
So
he
neither one of my parents smoked cigarettes, and I
he
wanted.
might have had a more of a likelihood to smoke without me if I didn't. But because he knew it was a bad thing before he started. He did it anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I know now that my parents, when I was younger, smoked weed, but you know, I mean, I never saw it.
Well, they
I
were
never
responsible with it.
The fucking
It sound-
I'll never forget when my cousin was like, "Your dad smoked weed before," and I was like, "What? On what fucking planet?" I was oblivious to it. I was like, "What? You fucking kidding me? My fucking straight-laced father?"
Yeah,
I thought at the time.
your introduction to it came from somewhere else.
Yeah, my introduction came to it through my cousin.
Yeah.
Dude comes home one night, fucking comes into the house. I'm staying with my aunt and uncle. Comes into the fucking house at like, god damn, it was like 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. I happened to be up watching TV. I was like 14 at the time. He comes God, how old was he? He was 19, 20. Comes into the fucking house, goes into his bedroom, dumps off his jacket and everything, turns on his light, comes back out, grabs a cucumber out of the fucking fridge and goes, "I'm going to go in my fucking room. Keep an eye out for my parents." Yeah, that's my introduction to fucking weed.
I mean, that Jergens next to you.
Yeah,
Like, what the fuck is going on?
that's what's going through my head. And then he comes out with a fucking pipe and he starts smoking it out the door. And I'm just like, what's that? He's like, "Weed. Want some?" I'm like,
Okay.
What will it do? And he's like, "Make you high." I'm like, "What's that mean?" Try it. So I fucking took a couple puffs and it didn't do much to me that night. I think it probably just put me to sleep was what it wound up doing. I just sat back, watched TV, boom. Next day, he smoked a joint with me outside, and I don't think I could have told you my name if you asked. I barely was able to walk back into his house by his parents without losing my shit. I was so fucked up. And God, did I have such dry mouth. Ugh. Fuck. I don't miss that because I don't smoke fucking bud anymore. So I don't get that freaking dry mouth shit from all the smoke and everything. So much better. Ugh. But yeah, my introduction to fucking weed. Fun times. It wasn't my parents. My parents.
Does he still smoke?
My cousin?
Yeah.
Don't know. I don't speak to him. I don't speak to him. He was one of the ones that I had when I had the exodus from my family when I got sober. He was one of the ones that I cut ties with.
So usually it's the opposite. When you get sober, you reconnect with your family. But not in your case.
Good portion of my family was
not sober.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it just, it made it very hard. But it was what it was. It was what it was. It was because he was like a brother to me. He really was. We spent a shit ton of time together. And I mean, I miss him. And I've heard that he's sober now and that things are good. And I'm very happy for him. Proud of him. Even. I've heard that he doesn't quite feel the same way towards me, but that's fine. I don't give a shit. He can feel and think however he wants. I wish him well because I'm very glad that he's sober. Because all I was expecting was the phone call that, hey, you have a funeral to go to. And I'm glad that I more than likely won't be getting that phone call. So that brought everything down.
Good job.
Ooh, yeah. On that.
Glad I could go down that road with you.
Yeah. It's good times, right?
So, Steve, the Stray King hat.
Yeah.
This is the second week in a row you've been wearing some sort of advertisement on your head. Are you getting sponsors for this show or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. I went to Walmart and paid for this hat, $8.88. So that's what they paid. I paid for that. No, I'm not. No, I just needed a new hat, man.
Listen, I thought that it was
one Walmart hat.
Are you a big fisherman?
No.
Then why did you buy that hat?
Because it was the cheapest one that Walmart had.
I think that it's a slight to Katie for her bowling last night.
Her bowling was on par.
That's
Hey
what
now.
your mom smoked you.
Yeah, she's really good.
Wouldn't call it smoked, but it was a
Well, for a
firm.
70-year-old lady, she did
Oh, well,
pretty good.
okay, she
Smoked
smoked
your
you.
boyfriend. I can tell you that. I looked at the score.
Yeah, he's not great.
Poor Joe. What was he like? Half of your score?
My family's big bowlers. I was on the bowling team in high school, so
Oh,
Easy.
yeah. She was criticizing the bowling alley. She's like, "They fucking suck. This
it
place
did.
is
It sucked.
shit."
It was horse shit.
But yeah,
Most of your little local bowling alleys do suck.
yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, not everything is like the Big Lebowski, Steve. We all wish it was.
I can tell you, Katie, you would have beat me. I suck at bowling. I try, but
Mm.
not good.
Mm.
I might bowl a 91, if that's even possible. Is that possible? I'm sure it's possible.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Hmm.
When I'm on a league, I usually hold about a 140 average, so not terrible for a girl.
my son's a big time bowler. He's probably about a 130 right now, but he improves every year. He's actually he's a two-handed bowler, so pretty fun to watch. Huh?
Yeah.
You mean he granny tosses it down the lane?
No. He watched that guy on TV that does it two hands. I don't know who it is. I don't follow bowling.
Shot put it? Like, was he fucking swing around? I mean,
No, he's got the curve going on.
Yeah,
and
he
the hook
puts a
and all that
spin
stuff.
on it.
Yeah. Oh, it's really cool to watch.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's really
You
cool
know,
to watch.
one-handed bowlers do that too.
Huh.
Right, but some people have better control two-handed, and he just happens to have better control that way, and he gets better scores. It's not odd for him to bowl like in the almost 200 range. But right now, because he changed balls, his average is a little low.
So is he gonna go pick up an Amish guy and go into a tournament?
Wouldn't be out of the
You know,
question.
just some underground after-hours bowling.
Yeah. There's got to be some Amish prodigy bowler out there by you, Steve.
I'm sure there are. My brother-in-law's Amish, so former Amish.
During Romspringer or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, fucking hell. Anyhow, Loch Ness, people. Gotta love Loch Ness.
They found it yet? The monster?
They found the loch.
Oh.
I just wanted to go over it because there's been a lot of new speculation about what the Loch Ness monster is and or isn't. And we haven't done like a really big show on it or anything. So by now we're all familiar with the mystery of Nessie at Loch Ness in Scotland. It's a long told story with thousands of sightings in the past 100 years, pictures, intriguing videos, famed expeditions, and even several proven hoaxes, the surgeon's photographed being one, I do believe. Popular theories over the years have included giant catfish, eels, sturgeons, sharks, seals, or even a prehistoric plesiosaur, but still with nothing proven. The intrigue has stayed alive to this day. In 2019, a new scientist grabbed a hold of the mystery. New Zealand professor Dr. Neil Gamel, I'm going to say Gamel. He decided to take on the challenge with a new technique using environmental DNA. He took over 250 water samples from the loch, all from different areas and depths. Those samples were tested for the DNA of the different species that swim through those waters. The tests found the many expected species and ruled out popular theories like shark, catfish, sturgeon, and reptile. But the prevailing DNA in almost all their samples was eel. This led Dr. Gamel to conclude that a giant eel is the most plausible theory for Nessie. Eels have always been known to be in the loch, however, not reported to be more than 10 or 12 pounds and a few feet long. Some divers have reported to see eels as thick as their legs, but is that enough to call it a monster? Dr. Gamel's testing and documentary TV special has been met with criticism. 25% of the DNA sequences he found remain unidentified. Critics think this invalidates Gamel's conclusions about the eel theory, but it also sparks a new and exciting interest in the topic once again. Who will grab hold of the mystery next? Who? The story is reaching a new generation of children who will latch on to the intrigue with a fresh fascination, just like the many generations.
No, it won't.
Yeah. Dude, Katie got this is what Katie got for me, and I went and watched. Vice did a thing on Loch Ness. They have this girl that does like these mystery in-depth reports, and I guess or whatever. She did one on Loch Ness, and the thing that she had brought up, one of the things, for those of you who don't know, for those of you who are ignorant, a loch in Scotland is basically a massive fucking pond. Just a big pond. But the thing that she got talking about was that just down the way from Loch Ness in Loch Lochy, they have another.
They run out of names. They had to Loch Lochy.
Yes, Loch Lochy, and President Starkey. So anyway, there's a sea creature there called Lizzie. Do you know about that, Steve?
Loch Lochy Lizzie.
Yeah. Do you know about that?
I know that there's other sea monsters loch monsters.
Did you know about Lizzie?
No. Lizzie Borden took an axe and gave her mother 4
Not that one. No. The sea monster.
I'm not sure that I knew exactly about this particular monster.
No. Well, anyway, supposedly there's this sea creature in Loch Lochy called Lizzie, and it doesn't get as much traction because it's not Loch Ness, but they have their own sightings. So
does like every freshwater body in the world.
I thought that was kind of interesting. The other thing I found interesting was Steve Feltham.
Steve Feltham.
Steve Feltham. Steve. My name is Steve Feltham. I'm 54 years old. I'm thrice divorced. And I live in a van down by the Loch Ness. This motherfucker left his wife, left his family behind to go literally live in a fucking van beside Loch Ness.
Sounds legit.
Renee DeHinden did the same thing to go look for Bigfoot.
To solve the mystery of Loch Ness. Was he DeHinden in a van down by the river?
No, it was a cabin in the Canadian wilderness, I think.
It's a little different.
It doesn't sound as good when you're talking about it.
My name is Renee DeHinden.
You kids today don't understand.
But he is the only Bigfoot researcher to ever appear in a beer commercial, so that's kind of cool.
Oh, yeah, he's got that. I do remember seeing that commercial. It's a good one.
Yeah.
I forget the name of it. Do you remember the beer?
It's
like
it's
1970s.
Yeah,
1970s.
it's that one beer, from up over there.
Oh yeah, that one.
Sasquatch something.
Yeah.
Skookum beer.
Was it Rainier?
Rainier.
Rainier, is that how it's pronounced?
Yeah, the mountain there.
Rainier. I know there's a Rainier beer, Rainier, whatever. There's a beer that has like a real cool like poster of like a barbarian, the beerbarian, as it's called.
Beerbarian.
But it's done in like the old like Conan art.
Right.
Like, came out in the 70s.
Like, shit.
Yeah, it's fucking badass. But
I love that old artwork. I was actually just posting some Frazetta on the like.
Come on. Nobody's got an answer in the chat or anything. Like, geez.
Kokanee beer.
There you go. Thanks, producer.
Yeah.
My internet's slow. You got to give me a minute.
Not as slow as the hosts of this show.
Yeah. And one of them smokes a lot of weed, so he's a little slow. But yeah,
I have no excuse.
I personally think that the eel theory is probably the most plausible at this point.
It kind of matches the description.
Yeah, if one got large enough, then yeah. And we all know there's anomalies out there. There's these weird, wild fucking things that just manage to be huge. I mean, there are these fucking people who wind up being like 7 feet fucking tall and shit. You know, it isn't out of the realm of possibility that an eel could grow to be larger.
Well,
But
that was
then what-
actually a thing they mentioned in the doc I watched was I guess there's thing called uni eels where they don't breed and they just get bigger and bigger and bigger.
They don't breed?
I did not research it more specifically, but I
Hmm.
found it intriguing.
If they don't breed, how do they keep existing?
Well, no, like rare cases, one out of
Jeez,
every 300 eels.
They're not
an
like
entire
those
species.
they're not like those lizards that wind up cloning themselves. They wind up all basically being female. There's this weird lizard that like there's this whole subsection of them that are female, but on the outlying areas there's males. They can still get new DNA in, but if they don't, then they will just clone themselves basically to create new offspring. It's fucking weird.
That's crazy shit.
Yeah, but that does happen in nature.
There's like a fish that undergoes a natural sex change
Yeah.
too. That's like really weird.
Yeah.
But what about the? I guess so. The ill theory is just saying that like the cases where people report seeing it on land near the loch is just wrong, or like lies or something.
I guess I don't know.
I don't think there's like a lot of those reports, but I think there's more than one.
There was oh god, there was a case of a couple. They were in a car and they saw her walk across the road, supposedly. On the Vice episode that I watched, they had a couple that had seen it come up out of the water, and when she went to go take a picture of it, it was gone.
Of course.
I'm trying to think of what else I've heard of on land stories.
There seems like I remember one about like a guy trying to like follow it, like track it, and could follow like where it went through the brush and everything, but then like lost it or something.
Yeah, I've only the only one I really know about is
The one crossing the road in front of the couple is the most famous.
Yeah, I can't remember the names of them. I want to say Spicer were the last names. But don't quote me on that because I can't remember. I know I did the story on it on my channel. That couple sighting, but I can't remember their fucking names for the life of me. But yeah, and then I mean, you've got this where people think they're seeing some sort of quote unquote dinosaur or lizard-like creature. Much like what people say they're seeing in Africa with the Mokele and Bembe.
Yeah.
So people are seeing something. What is it they're seeing?
And I joked about it. I joked about it earlier, but like honestly, there are a shit ton of lakes that have these creatures reported. That have their own creature, and they're all pretty much matching the same description. That's the only reason I ever personally thought like, oh well, maybe there really is something to this, and perhaps it was, I don't know, a remnant dinosaur that made it by living in fresh water for a while before they all died off or something. Yeah. It's kind of like, dragons are reported all over the world from different cultures too. That's really weird to me.
Well, what about the seal theory?
I don't know if I know the seal theory.
Like there is a theory that seals have come in from the ocean but they would obviously go back. So what if somebody saw a seal and that was their Nessie sighting, quote unquote? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The seal's capable of coming out on land too and walking across a road.
It has flippers.
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody wasn't seeing it right, or I'm not trying to like put words in people's mouths and saying this is what they saw, but
there was a hoax picture floating around the internet not too long ago. I want to say this past year, that showed a group of seals in the water, like coming out of the water as they swam, but it was just like a photograph, and it looked like a creature with multiple lumps coming out of the water, but it was just a group of seals.
Right.
You could zoom in and see them.
Yep.
But is it a pod of seals? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't know what the
freaking group of seals. I mean, I guess it could happen. And a lot of these locations that have these stories are definitely colder climates. The water temperature would be colder.
Yeah.
The big hole in the seal theory that I heard was that the seals are known to come in to follow the salmon, but it only happens about every 5 years.
Yeah, but what I was saying about the seal thing was, if they do, it could account for the sightings where people are seeing this thing that looks like something else.
Yes.
And then your normal sightings that people are seeing are just eels. They're seeing like the humps in the water or whatever. I mean, eels. Yeah. Did I say eels? I fucking don't know. But yeah. I mean, I think it could be a plausible theory, I guess.
What if what people are seeing are a combination of things?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
it's a bunch of different things, and they're just associating it all with the quote unquote Loch Ness monster.
I mean, some people could see a log floating out in the loch, and that would be their Loch Ness monster. Somebody else might see an eel, that would be their Loch Ness monster, and somebody might see a seal.
Right.
I
mean, it makes sense.
And somebody might see an actual Loch Ness monster. I don't know.
I grew up spending a lot of time on the water at a lake. And just, simple things that you don't really think about, just the waves reflecting light in a certain way, or like a cloud will move overhead causing a shadow on one part where it's not on another, or there's like rogue waves on lakes just like there are in the ocean and everything else. If you're not used to seeing these things and recognizing what they are, like, they look weird and they could be mistaken for other things. The log thing especially, if you've got like a log floating that has some like twists in it and stuff, as it flows with the water, like different twists come out of the water and go back underneath and everything else and get caught in like currents. I mean, you have like a channel usually running through a lake where the current will be stronger than other parts. So you'll have this part where like debris is floating down river or whatever on the lake, but 20 feet away, nothing's moving, and it causes a lot of optical illusions.
Yeah. I mean, and you have the same type of, in the ocean, there's currents, so there's all kinds of ways that this could trick your mind, I think, as far as like what people are seeing. Now, could there be a creature in Loch Ness? I guess there could be. I mean, they say that thing's pretty fucking deep. It seems pretty thin.
With all the years of investigation in that one particular loch, you'd think they'd come up with something solid if it was there.
Yeah.
By now, I don't
Yeah.
know.
And the guy's DNA test, I mean, granted, yeah, some of it came up unidentifiable, but I mean, I think the eel, for me, for now, the eel theory kind of makes sense. And
it's the strongest theory out.
Right. And what we were just saying, like, between that and like the other shit that people can see in that thing, like we were talking about, a log, something, floating in there, or an eel, or when the seals come in, or whatever the case may be, and they're just all associating it with this pond monster, I guess, because it's not a lake.
Yeah. But here's what gets me is like, okay, so everybody, you have your believers and your proponents that are just like so hung up on like, oh, this has to be some sort of undiscovered amphibious reptile, If it is a giant eel, I think that's just as cool.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And like that happens a lot, like before something's discovered, it is mysterious and strange and weird, It doesn't have to be like this big grand thing. It could just be something much more simple than what people thought it was, but it's still a huge discovery either way.
Right. Or, and even if it's just an oversized eel, like you said, it's an oddity. It's something outside the norm.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I think oftentimes, like, especially like, because we do this show all the time and we're looking for these, we're not looking for them. Like, we're not out looking for these fucking creatures, but we're always looking into this shit. So, it's just not surprising that, that I'd get stoned and forget what I was talking about.
Giant eels in a pond.
That's right. Giant eels in a pond. That people would see that as something else.
It's also cool that Loch Ness, like Bigfoot, have become so well known on a global scale that they're used in like pop culture and stuff. Whenever you think that like these are like supposed monsters that are real that have gone undiscovered, but yet you find them like on advertising.
You would ask people about the like cryptids or like these undiscovered creatures, like top 3: Bigfoot, Loch Ness. What's number 3?
Chupacabra.
But right now it's probably chupacabra.
Ain't even real, Matt.
I know.
It doesn't matter.
But I mean, Bigfoot and Loch Ness are right up there. I mean, those are your things.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I just did a show where like I kind of like, had a freak out moment because the guy I was talking to, he said that like his first real introduction to Bigfoot was at a book fair whenever he was a kid. He bought this book and half the book was about Bigfoot and half was about the Loch Ness Monster. And that was the first Bigfoot book I ever owned as a kid. And it wasn't like a popular book or anything, but just right there, like in the 1970s, somebody published a book for young adults that was half Bigfoot, half Nessie.
Yeah.
We had that book in my library in middle school or high school.
Yeah, the one that I got introduced to, it was on the bookshelf in the back of my 4th grade teacher's room, and it had all kinds of creatures in it. It had the Thunderbird, the Jersey Devil, Bigfoot, and Mothman. And that was my introduction to all of that. It was in the 4th grade.
My introduction came later in high school, but I was a library aide, so I had a lot of time on my hands in the library. But I get that Uri Geller is what got me into this kind of bull crap. Because I believed in it back then, obviously. Now we all know Uri Geller is a big...
The spoonbender?
Well, yeah, but as a kid, as a young, impressionable teenager...
Were you bending spoons?
I tried.
As a kid, you believe that there is a guy out there that could bend spoons with his mind?
Yeah, I did, but I quickly came to realize that was a bunch of shit, but it got me into the whole topic, and that's why I started, where I started learning about this shit. But then we had UFO books in there, and we had Bigfoot and Nessie and all that shit in our library. Pretty cool. I mean...
Well, Chris has a pretty decent collection of the old Time Life mystery books.
Actually, no, I don't anymore.
Oh, well, okay. But you did, and like I always thought that was real cool. Like in the 80s, whenever Time Life, they used to release books, they came out with a whole set of books about like this type of stuff.
Oh yeah, like psychic phenomenon.
Yeah.
They had one on Bigfoot and mysterious creatures.
Witchcraft, I believe.
Yeah, I just sold what was it, 17 of them? It wasn't the full set. But yeah, I mean, I remember when those fucking came on TV, I was like, get the fuck out. Time?
Yeah. That proves it.
Yeah.
Validation.
Bigfoot's real. Aliens real.
I had an old golf video game, that was like PGA license and everything. And there was like a couple levels on it. Like one, I can't remember where it was, but I want to say it was like in North Carolina or South Carolina or something. Like I'm sitting there like on the putting green, and like in the background, past the crowd, a fucking Bigfoot peeks around a tree at me. And at first I thought I was like tripping, like, like did that really happen? And then like there's a level where you're playing like in Scotland at a castle, and like in the background you see like the Loch Ness creature like poke its head out of the water and go back under.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, just a couple of like little Easter eggs that they threw in there.
Yeah. And then you got in the Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare, they put Bigfoot in the game.
Yeah.
You know, you can go hunt Bigfoot.
Yeah, you think he's like eating babies and stuff, and it turns out he's just a big gentle giant.
Yeah. It's really cool, like some of the pop culture shit that's come out of these creatures. I mean, like Loch Ness. I mean, Christ, they make fucking stuffed animals. Same thing with Bigfoot.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a whole industry.
I mean, there's like some kind. I always see it on Amazon, like this. It's like a soup ladle or something in the shape of Loch Ness.
Yep.
You know, just for your kitchen.
Yeah, it's
Pretty cool one too. I think we have that one.
And there are people who
Well, it is green.
And there are people who get right into it.
Yeah.
They fucking go all in. You know those people, Matt. The Bigfoot people, they go all in. Everything's Bigfoot.
Oh yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
You know, or the people that they want to celebrate their Native American heritage, or my family's case, the lack thereof.
Yeah.
And they decorate their whole house in Native American shit.
Yeah. Dream catchers. Lots and lots of dream catchers.
My sister always did that shit.
Ugh.
What the fuck? We do have some Native American blood, but we didn't grow up on a fucking reservation.
What, you want to live with Warren?
No, I mean mine is actually verifiable, but it's so minimal in our generation.
The one that really irritates me is the crap in the Bigfoot community, where you have like all these Native American, this is quoting Native American shamans and psychics, and I don't know what to call them, and it'll end up being like some old white lady with blonde hair, but she'll call herself like Crowfeather or something, and she's got a special bond with the Bigfoot people and talks to them with her mind, and there's like tons of them.
Oh yeah.
I know.
Oh
Yeah.
And like whenever I used to go out into the field, you know, looking for Bigfoot and everything, like whenever you're out there and you're looking for this thing, yeah, you hear shit and you're like, oh my God, what was that? Did you hear that? You know, and your mind starts racing. And I eventually got to the point where like I became okay with that. Like you're out there in the woods, it's scary, it's dark, whatever, you're looking for a creature. Yeah, your mind's going to get the better of you, and you're going to be jumping at everything, and everything's going to be a Bigfoot. But then you have to document and record all that stuff. And then once you get back home and you're safely in your house, calm down, and then go back and look at all that stuff, you know, with fresh eyes, and realize that it's not all Bigfoot, and debunk it, you know?
You should debunk first and prove last, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I think that Bigfoot researchers should be looking at their stuff with a fine-tooth comb at all times.
Oh, they do. It's just the wrong fucking comb.
Yeah, it's the wrong comb. For fuck's sake. Yeah, it baffles me the amount of horseshit that gets put out, and that people, it's not that it gets put out. Like, I don't give a fuck about these people who put out these hoax videos or put out videos and say, is this a Bigfoot or whatever? It's the people that glom onto it and say, you don't know. You know, fuck you. Like, you don't either. You know, it's a fucking video or it's a picture or whatever the fuck it is. You know, you don't know either. You know, when it comes to that picture or that video, that's the thing. And they fucking, and even the one that pisses me off the most is when they they hang on, and it's an obvious hoax,
Yeah.
and people are still fucking hanging on to it with like for dear life, clawing their fucking hands in, and it's so obvious. It just those are the ones that really disgust me. By the way, did anyone get to see the Dr. Johnson video?
Oh no, he put out a new video.
Oh,
I saw it via Para Breakdown.
yes, so did I.
I have not.
Oh, Steve.
I saw the UFO in Texas video.
You are in for a fucking treat.
Should I watch both versions or just Phil's?
You can watch whichever version you'd like.
I mean, I'm not sure I really want to watch a Dr. Johnson video. Just saying.
It's interesting. I can tell you that for fact.
I have such mixed emotions about that guy.
Listen,
I don't.
you can't be who you are being him and then come out and just say that everyone is wrong. That's basically what his video does. He just comes out and says, they're all nice people and all, but they're wrong.
They're just mad because they didn't figure it out first.
Like, what the fuck is this? What?
Such a fucking arrogant asshole.
It is narcissism to a degree I can't fathom.
But that's what I don't get. That's his field of expertise.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like a classic, like, he's like the Hannibal Lecter of Bigfoot. Like, this guy blows my mind. And here's the thing. So part of me is like, okay.
Moneymaker say to you on your
the shit that he puts out is so asinine and ridiculous. I understand that some people believe it and some people want to give him the benefit of the doubt and like, oh, well, you don't know nothing. Okay, whatever. In my opinion, it's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's horse shit.
So there's no way, and I know that a lot of people will disagree with this, and that's fine. There's no way that he believes it himself. I know people think that he believes it. I don't think that. I think it's all just made up bullshit, and he's making money and getting attention, and he's feeding his own inner beast, and that's all he cares about.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, you know what? That doesn't have anything to do with his profession. It doesn't matter. You know, this is what he's doing as a hobby in his free time. You know, if people really cared, like he's been on TV, he's easy to look up and everything. But then I watch a video like he put out last night. And the first thing that comes through me following the seething anger was somebody needs to tell like every person he ever talks to on a professional level, like, this is who you're talking to. This is who you're confiding in. This is the person that you're like looking to for mental help and advice in your life on a personal level. This guy.
Apparently his patients or clients or whatever you want to call them do not know how to use Google at all, because he wouldn't have any clients. I mean, would you go to him? Hell no. And he was a child psychologist for a long time, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Family therapist.
No.
Yeah.
Gives seminars, writes books.
Not taking my children to him. Sorry. Or anybody even remotely like him.
But like, if I'm not mistaken, in the past, like the powers that be, like social services where he lives, was like contacted and like told about this other life that he lives.
Right.
And they looked into it and they didn't care.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. I mean, the tying his kid to a tree thing is what put me over the edge with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know it was fake. I know it was for shits and giggles
but
YouTube
fake shit goes wrong.
But you don't portray a child tied to a tree.
No, because guess what? Somebody watching your video is going to go tie their kid to a tree now.
Yeah, because people are like that.
Yeah.
And I've always said he's running a fucking cult. You know, it's basically a fucking cult. And the people that he is telling this stuff to fully believe he's the fucking Messiah.
He's the new
basically. Well, basically, that's what he's doing.
And like I've heard Chris and other people say this in the past, you know, one of the theories floating around out there, at least, thrown out in conversation, speculation, whatever you want to call it, is that this is all some huge, giant, like psychological experiment of his that he's like documenting. If that ever turned out to be true and he released a book going into detail about this entire journey, like, dude, he'd be up for like prizes and shit. Like,
God.
that would be like one of the biggest mind fucks in history.
Fucked with? He'd have to be in witness protection or some shit after that. I mean, the people that he's fucking with people who probably aren't all there mentally in the first place.
Oh, he'd probably get
Basically.
punched.
You
If
know,
that happened, like people would want some type of justice from it.
I don't know. I think the people that follow him would probably just follow him right through the whole fucking thing anyway. Oh, that's all he was doing. Oh, great. Matthew Johnson, he's our god.
But he has groups of people that go on record validating his claims.
Oh yeah. Which also surprises the fuck out of me.
Now, I understand that, like, from the cult perspective, like, if you're one of his followers and believers, then, like, you go out into the woods with him, yeah, you're going to validate his claims. You're going to say, yep, I saw the same exact thing, regardless of whether you did, but you're probably going to believe it because you're that type of mentality.
Right.
But whenever you have quote unquote respected skeptics that go out and come back and validate his claims, regardless of how much back crawling they do later on, or, how they try to write it off, it still happened.
My guess is these respected skeptics were probably going out there trying to capitalize on something. That's the only thing that's the only justification I can see for that.
I'm sure their signature is on the bottom of a contract somewhere.
Yeah. And it has to be.
Which skeptics are we talking about?
Yeah, bitch slips, maybe.
Nobody important.
Wait, wasn't there a video afterwards? Like,
I did not have sexual relations
how do you let yourself, like, and since that's happened, like, as far as I know, like, he's completely distanced himself from it, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So
well, that's the thing. He got to go there, he got to validate and get off. Like, no pun intended. Like, it didn't damage his reputation at all.
Zero.
It's like Meldrum. Meldrum went out with Todd Standing.
Yeah.
And came back unscathed.
Fucking standing.
Yeah.
There's a group of us that, shouted at the rooftops about it, but it didn't matter.
Yeah, no. It just fell on deaf ears.
Todd Standing comes out unscathed. That's the thing.
He's still unscathed.
Yeah.
We pointed out a new video where somebody caught him with Bigfoot costume hands in his possession. And like, oh, that Todd.
Yeah.
Such a character.
Just Todd. He's just out there doing his Todd thing.
Well, Todd Standing probably isn't doing anything illegal. Matthew Johnson, on the other hand, I think that borders on some maybe illegal shit going on. Illegal as far as manipulating people to give him money type thing. I guess Standing is doing it in a way too. But
they're all con men.
Well, they're con men for sure. But Matthew Johnson takes it to a level that definitely should be investigated by proper authorities. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
If you want to give your money to fucking Rick Dyer, have at, right? If you want to give your money to Todd Standing, have at. But fucking Matthew Johnson, you better have your head examined. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no. The fact that he gets as many followers as he does is telling.
One is too many.
But it's so telling.
Yeah.
Like that people are so willing to believe whatever.
They want to escape reality as far as they can.
And this gives them that escape. For some reason, they like believing that Bigfoot is this extra dimensional creature that can heal them. And
Don't think it has much to do with Bigfoot at this point. I really don't. I think it all has to do with their fascination with Dr. Johnson.
But this is also a telltale sign, in my opinion. Have you noticed Dr. Johnson has quit using the term Bigfoot?
Well, good.
He uses forest people.
Well, yeah.
And he calls them by names like Zarthon or whatever.
Yeah.
So, like, one could argue if he was ever exposed, well, I was never talking about Bigfoot. I was talking about the forest people.
He did call them Bigfoot, though.
At one point.
Yes.
But no longer.
no longer.
But exposed for what, though? You can't prove a negative.
Defrauding people.
Defrauding people, yes, you can prove that. But you can't prove that you can't be exposed for being a hoaxer if there's nothing to expose.
Oh, right.
I mean,
I'm getting a message from Zarthon right now.
Yes. Everything's in the ether. I mean, there's no physical evidence of anything.
Well,
Because
he did
there
say he
isn't
could open a portal at will.
There's physical evidence that he's a fucking asshole.
I hope he opens that portal, goes through it, and stays there. Just saying.
Like, really, man?
I mean, we've been talking about this dude for fucking,
God.
since the show began.
Magic fucking Johnson.
And he's still around, and he still garners new support. New support. That's what fucking gets me.
Eric Beckyard was around until he died.
Yeah, well, how long do we got to wait?
Apparently a while, since Dr. Johnson's Bigfoot can cure any cancer.
Yeah,
That's what the scary part about Dr. Johnson is that he's telling people that his Bigfoots or forest people or imaginary beings of some sort can heal you. People buy into that shit. That's what makes this a fucking cult.
I'm buying in.
Yeah, because then you have people that are desperate to find a cure for whatever ails them, and they're going to pay him money to take them out and have the forest people cure them.
It's no better than those guys in Mexico.
I wonder if I could convince
healer
Dr.
guys,
Johnson that my PP doesn't work and I want
psychic surgeons. He's no better than that, you know.
Bigfoot faith healing. Man, you
And
know, guys,
this man claims to be a Christian. That's the funny part.
this might be our opportunity, though. I mean, if we put on a big thing, a big production of it, get a revival tent.
Oh, gotta have the revival tent. Some old gospel type singers. Yeah.
I've been touched by the light of Zorth.
I mean, we're making light of this shit. But for the people involved, when the walls come crashing down, it's not going to be a good thing.
I don't think the walls will ever come crashing down for those people.
I do think so. Because every cult, the walls come crashing down eventually. And I'm not saying he's going to have them all commit mass suicide or some shit like that. Somebody's going to get hurt out there. Somebody will. I've been saying it for a couple of years. You put fucking Fritos out for an imaginary creature and some bear comes in there, it's going to kill you. And it's going to happen. And that's when the walls will come crashing down.
Well,
something will happen.
I think the more beyond that, there is no idea of safety when it comes to that. And they're so open to the idea that they're in tune with something that I think you're right, Steve. I think somebody's going to do something stupid.
They're putting themselves at risk every time they do that. Every time.
Yeah, and it's going to wind up being because they think that they're somehow communing with nature.
Well, they'll be communing with fucking nature, all right.
Yeah, in the fucking belly of a bear, but...
Well, and it might not be a bear. It could be a mountain lion. It could be a coyote. It could be anything.
Could be Lyme disease.
Yeah. Lyme disease, you can get that anywhere, but...
Yeah.
I'm just saying, this is... That's why I stopped speaking about Matthew Johnson, really, because it bothers me so much that these people...
The truth loves the show.
Good. And we love the truth.
Oh, wait a minute. I
Yes.
didn't mean to put Gabby up there for a minute.
Yeah, why would you do
Why
that?
was that up
I just didn't want to. That wasn't intentional.
there? Is this like fucking eHarmony?
I've been
or something?
watching. I've been watching Chris Hansen lately. He's got a
Well, you-
show.
Have a
Does-
seat, Steve.
Have a seat with Chris Hansen. He's into that whole Onision thing. Have you watched any of that?
Mm,
Which
anyway, it's
allows
a-
you to have sex with teenagers.
Yeah. Well, it's a very similar situation if you think about it to what Matthew Johnson does. He's a very manipulative person, and he gets you to believe these things, and he draws you in. And it's very hard to leave a situation like that because now you're invested in this whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very similar. I mean, if you watch, and I would unfortunately watched way too much of that shit. I didn't even know who that guy was, but it's a very similar type of, you know, manipulation of people. People are enamored with you. They want to come out and see you. They don't realize you're this fucking bastard, you know. It's just bad stuff.
Yeah. It could end very badly.
I think it will. And I hate to say that. I really do. I mean,
But- You know, again, it could just fucking fade off into into nothingness too. There are many
think-
cults that stick around or just go away or nothing really bad happens, but they're still fucking just, you know, a bunch of fucking whack
I
jobs.
mean, Scientology is still there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know that necessarily something bad could happen.
It's just that.
But are
the
there people that
activities-
exist like this in the field of Loch Ness?
I bet
Is there
you.
like somebody out there who's like, Loch Ness is an all-powerful being that communicates with me telepathically?
Maybe
I
that's
bet you there are.
what he's trying to do.
If you wade into the loch naked, the stroke of midnight on a full moon.
After you call to the corners, you can commune with the water spirit. Listen, it's a water spirit, Matt.
Yes,
People, it's a water
an
spirit.
elemental.
Yes. And by the grace of the elemental, we will rise up like Poseidon. Can I get a trident?
Yes.
That'd be awesome. I'll go fucking hang out at the loch, start myself a cult. Steve, what do you think?
Hey, I'm all for starting a cult, man.
I can be Scottish. I'll become Scottish. Can I do that?
You can try.
Can I get Scottish citizenship?
Oh, I'm sure you could. They'd welcome you with.
You need to talk to next time you have old Steve Coles on, Squatch Detective. He loves to talk about the Loch Ness.
Does he?
He got called over there, man. He got recruited for a documentary as like the
Yeah, he's-
cryptozoology expert.
He spoke on our show about that.
Did he actually go? He went on the expedition?
Yeah, went
Yeah.
to Scotland.
No shit.
Aren't you listening
Yeah.
to the fucking show? You're the host.
Listen, Steve, they all blend into one another.
Yeah, I know. I agree.
I've done so many now.
Probably
Like, I go back and listen to it, and I'm like, I fucking totally forgot I said that.
There was a guy that he had worked with, a director, I believe, for a different channel and a different project, a Bigfoot related project, who ended up doing a similar type show about the Loch Ness Monster, a standalone show. It wasn't a series or anything. And asked Coles to be his guy.
Huh.
And Coles got upset because he showed how like at least one sighting of Loch Ness on video had been a misidentification, and they didn't use it or didn't give him credit for it or something. You know how TV
Right.
works,
Right.
clever editing or whatever. But yeah, he got to go over to Scotland and spend like a couple of weeks, I think, down there,
Nice.
over there, up there, wherever the hell it is.
I'd
Over
love-
there.
Be fun.
Yeah.
I don't know as I'd want to like, set up camp on the side of the fucking loch.
No, they
Oh.
put him up in like a hotel and everything.
I think it would actually be pretty
Guy
cool.
that did.
I think it'd be pretty cool to spend a week in a tent on Loch Ness or something, or in a camper with the other Steve.
Yeah, like for a week, not for fucking the rest of my life, Steve.
No, not the rest of your life. No, fuck no.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna fucking live there. Jesus Christ.
What about a houseboat?
Ooh,
Well, maybe.
houseboat, party houseboat.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sleeping on the loch at night,
That might work.
chumming the old water.
That might work for me. That I could do. Like a permanent thing.
Yeah.
So
How do you
people,
chum the water, Matt, if
people
you
in
don't know what
Scotland, let
this?
me be like my own sovereign nation out on the log.
How do you
You-
chum the water if you don't know what this thing actually eats? Just a
You
question.
just gotta try everything.
Are there
Steve.
a lot of herbivores that live in water, Steve?
No, I don't think so. I'm not a herbivoreist. I have no idea. I don't even know if that's a word.
Hippo, Steve?
Well, typically, things that live in water eat meat.
Yes.
So you just throw blood and meat and stuff over the side.
What if it's a herbivore, though? What if it is a herbivore?
Then throw some lettuce over the side,
There you go.
Yeah.
some kelp.
Maybe that's the whole answer to this whole thing. They've been doing it wrong all these years. Wrong bait. Maybe we should just throw. Never mind. I'm not going to go there. There's going to be a Matthew Johnson reference.
Maybe
But I
we-
changed my mind and I didn't say it because,
Maybe we should throw Matthew Johnson into the loch
I didn't say that.
and drive off. Maybe we should attach weights to his ankles.
I didn't say that either.
You also didn't say that if there was some sort of mass suicide, it might be a good thing.
I didn't say that.
You didn't. Culling the herd.
Yeah, you didn't say anything like that, Steve.
I didn't even think it.
Oh, should you, Steve?
No, of course not.
Should you? I mean, those people, those poor people.
Oh, I
Those
believe
people.
some herds need to be culled, but I'm never going to be the one to say it.
Oh, dude, I went back and watched clips from Tropic Thunder.
Talking about a movie that didn't age well in today's society. I mean, I thought the movie was great, but like, do you think there's people out there, like, do you think there's Avengers fans that know what their precious Iron Man used to do?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Like that. See, but here's the thing. Okay, I'm a fan of redemption for people. I'm a total fan, and Robert Downey Jr. By all accounts, seems to have gotten his life together, and he's a different person.
That happened after that movie. Hey, Soul Man, maybe you ought to do some inner reflection.
Right. This was a creative choice.
Yes.
Okay. And the reason behind the whole movie, like Tropic Thunder is a caricature of Hollywood.
Yeah.
It is poking fun at these stupid ass people who think they like that they're so self-obsessed that they have to do these things. So I love the take on it. Even I was watching his interview with Rogan, Robert Downey Jr.'s interview with Rogan, and he even says, he's like, listen, I got about 90-something% of my black friends that are like, dude, that was fucking great. And the other ones are like, but it's a caricature and it's a piece of art. So like for me, like I look at it like, he played a role and it was a role poking fun at shit.
Right.
Where Soul Man was not a guy getting in blackface to poke fun at the idea of blackface. Like it was something totally different. And that's why I think that most people were okay with it. That portrayal.
I think it's because of whenever it came out.
I think that has
we grew up with a lot of that sort of humor.
Well, and I think that if you tried to do it today, it wouldn't happen.
No. I don't think he'd agree to do it today.
No, he wouldn't agree to do it today, and it wouldn't happen. I mean, Christ, he got on Rogan. He's like, "You're not getting me to smoke a joint."
Like, let's just be clear.
And Rogan's like, "Yeah, stock went down the next day, but it went right back up the day after."
I'd like to bring in my next guest, Charlie Sheen.
Yeah, right. Fucking dude, Charlie Sheen. This is the shit that gets me. They're going after all these people for this fucking Me Too shit. And there's Charlie Sheen. Like, what the
Gets-
fuck?
Gets off scot fucking free.
Well, they're like, he's got AIDS. Leave him alone.
Yeah. Like that he may have knowingly given to women.
Well,
Good old fucking Chuck Sheen.
Do you think? I mean, honestly, this is what you have to ask yourself. If Charlie Sheen
Carlos Estevez?
knew he got AIDS, would he quit fucking? That's what you have to ask yourself.
Oh, fuck no.
Of course not.
And why would you not keep Carlos Estevez?
Once again, growing up as a fan of all of those actors, that was one of the most. The Sheen family was so fucking confusing.
Now,
You're like, Emilio?
ever have thought, like, go back in time, like to the 80s, take yourself back, Matt. Yeah, close your
to do that.
Close your eyes, go back. Think about Loaded Weapon.
Yeah.
All the Emilio Estevez driven movies. Did you ever think that he would be the one that would drop off and be normal?
No.
Like, I half expected like you to find out that Emilio Estevez was dead in a fucking pile of his own vomit. Like from fucking
I live in Tulsa, home of the Outsiders, where most of those guys got their big career break in that movie. And out of that entire cast of movie, which included a young, fucked up tooth Tom Cruise.
Yep.
Out of that movie, Swayze, all of them. You watch that movie, and Emilio's the one where you're like, what the fuck is with this guy? Then Young Guns, the highlight of his career.
Yeah.
He's still the one, where you're like, I mean, you're playing alongside Sutherland, yeah. And you're still like, man, this guy's off.
But then fast forward, he's making movies like The Way.
Yeah.
Which is one of my favorite movies of all time. And
like not fucking up, not getting into trouble.
Nope, just making good movies, writing and directing good movies. Just squeaky fucking clean. It's like, what the fuck? If I was to take myself back in time, I would have never thought that Emilio Estevez would be the one with his shit together.
No.
And that Charlie Sheen would be the fucking disaster. Like, he looked like he was on his way to, like, that superstardom of just like, can't do no wrong. Well, not the can't do no wrong, but gonna just make it and be good. And
yeah.
And boy, were we wrong.
I'm just gonna follow in Martin's footsteps.
Yeah. And what a fucking great actor Martin Sheen is.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Jesus. Him in The Departed, like, that role was perfect for him. Absolutely perfect for him. And he was great. Just as that, that Boston guy. It was so good. And I really enjoyed his character in The Way, this father that loses his son. Who was trying to make this pilgrimage walk, the Camino del Santiago, whatever the fuck it is, where you end up at this church at the end, and his son dies while he's doing this, so he decides to go take up the walk that his son did without having any idea of what he was fucking doing, and just to try and find some connection with his son. I thought it was just such a beautiful movie. I mean, from beginning to end, it's a great movie. And if you haven't seen it, I fucking totally recommend it. Way more than Leviathan, by the way.
What? Okay, let's not get carried away.
Leviathan is a master. I mean, Matt, you were a little preoccupied when we were having our Leviathan discussion. You were watching your Kansas City Chiefs secure their Super Bowl position.
Yeah.
But I
mean, what is there to add about a discussion of Leviathan, though?
It's just the greatest fucking amalgamation of every horror movie.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there with my son because I watched it again with my son, And I'm like, dude, you're gonna love this. I'm like, it's everything. He's like, what? I'm like, it's an 80s horror movie. It's like
every John Carpenter movie made that John Carpenter didn't make.
yeah, and it's just wrapped into this undersea adventure. And then like for some reason they decided to put a Jaws reference in.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm in. And we sat down and we watched it. And I'm like, dude, at the end, for no apparent reason, they have sharks come up and just bump them. He's like, get the fuck out. I'm like, no, it happens.
Well, I mean, what else is going to happen in that scenario?
But seriously though, that movie is, it is. I don't know how I missed it all these years, and I've watched it twice in the past week. It's not a good movie. It's a very bad movie. Let me be clear about this.
Yeah.
It's a very bad movie, but it's so bad that it's good. It is just so bad that it is good. And the caliber of actors that they have in this, like Hector Elizondo, fucking Daniel Stern, fucking Richard Crenna, Peter Weller. I'm just like, you can't go wrong. You just could not. They couldn't go wrong with this for me.
Can you imagine whenever they took that script to a director and producers and stuff? Like, were there like 3 questions? Like, are they underwater? Are they trying to reach the surface? And are there sharks? If you can do all 3 of those, I'm in.
We'll produce.
No questions asked. Well, yeah.
If you can put some sharks in at the end, and a quote that's kind of like Roy Scheider's at the end.
Similar, but won't get us sued.
Like literally, say motherfucker.
Yeah.
Oh God. This makes me want to go back and watch Screamers, which, by the way, is not a bad Peter Weller movie. It's a very good sci-fi Peter Weller movie, if you ask me. Not amazingly made or anything, but it's a good movie. It's based on a Robert Heinlein book, I believe. But I was trying to get my son to watch Predestination. Do you remember Predestination, Matt, with Ethan Hawke?
Not off the top of my head.
It's based on a Robert Heinlein novel about time travel. And he's trying to stop this guy, the Fizzle Bomber.
That's a horrible name.
Yeah, I know, it is a fucking horrible name.
Fizzle Bomber.
They actually talk about that in the movie about how it's a horrible name. But yeah, if you haven't seen it, I recommend it. I was trying to get my son to watch it, but he was just like, it doesn't sound very good.
Oh, Minority Report with Ethan.
No,
I've never seen this.
Yeah, it's good. You'd like it.
I just read the little blurb.
Yeah, it's got a good little twist to it. I loved the movie. Absolutely loved it. I've watched it a bunch of different times. You know what I just did? Did you ever catch the time travel movie Primer? Anyone? Anyway, it's about these guys. They're trying to create this tech startup thing. They're creating
yes, the ones that create the box.
Right, they create the box. Okay,
Yeah.
so I recently, just this past week, went back and watched on YouTube. There is a whole thing that explains everything in that movie. Like it goes through everything bit by bit to explain every piece of time travel that happens in that movie. And I was like, that was kind of eye-opening because I've watched Primer a few different times because it's such a great time travel movie. About what happens when 2 people start time traveling and then lying to each other.
Yeah, I thought it was one of those. That was one of those movies that you always saw on the shelf at Blockbuster, but never rented. And then finally, like one day, everything was out, and you're like, "Well, I guess I'll rent this." And then you're like, "Holy shit, this is good!"
But it so happened with me that it happened because of streaming services.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing about Primer. Doesn't Primer seem like something that was like made for fucking Netflix or something?
Yeah, it was just an independent film.
Yeah,
and I think I saw it on Netflix the first time.
See, I rented that bitch.
Yeah, it's such a good film too.
Yeah,
Such a
it
good
is.
movie. I mean, if you haven't seen Primer, I definitely recommend it. I mean, I'm big with time travel movies. You put out a time travel movie, I will at least fucking check it out.
I mean,
Not
I think
not that kid one that's on fucking Netflix, that See You Tomorrow or
no, not that crap.
fuck that goddamn thing is. That I don't know. But the Project Almanac, which was with the teenage kids,
Yeah,
that one was good.
yeah.
But yeah, you make a fucking time travel movie, I'm in.
See,
You
and
know?
I think with Primer, it kind of stayed under the radar because it was like story driven and low budget. You know,
There was not, and there's no special effects in that fucking movie.
no,
Or
it's
very
two
little.
guys in a room. You
Yeah,
know,
and it's all dialogue. It's very cerebral. Like when you get to the end and you realize what's been going on,
yeah,
it's like, what the fuck? Like that's the thing. Like it goes into this whole idea of, two guys who are friends, and then they start time traveling and realizing they can do things and then lying to each other.
yeah. I mean, it's the classic. Did you eat the last slice of pizza? Only the pizza is a time travel device.
Where
What? No, I didn't eat it. I don't know
where
what
they're
happened to
each,
it.
like, making devices independent of each other. It gets
Yeah.
fucking wacky.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely recommend that shit. But the fucking Leviathan, I can't say enough good about it. I just don't know how I missed this amazing 80s gem.
It did really surprise me, this week whenever you like told me
Message
that you had like watched it for the first time, and I was like, "What? This comes on like every Sunday afternoon on public television." Like,
I've never seen it. I've never caught it when it was on. I remember seeing like the poster for it or the VHS case for it,
yeah,
and never grabbing it. Never going, oh yeah, I want to check that out today. I checked out Deep Star 6, which was a horrid bag of dog shit underwater, and I didn't check out Leviathan. I mean, that right there fucking tells you everything. Chris, have you ever seen Lunopolis? No, I've never seen Lunopolis. No fucking clue what that is.
Monopoly.
I have a feeling it has something to do with the moon.
All of the lunar surface, and if you pass go, you go like $200.
Did you see where they're releasing a anniversary edition Garbage Pail Kids Monopoly?
Yes, I posted
Looks so cool
on the like page.
I've seen it. Yeah,
I'd be in for getting a copy of that fucking song.
$40. $40 is what it costs.
That's what it's going for.
And it'll resell for 80.
Well, it would probably resell for a lot more. However, the maker of the game has put restrictions on selling them. So,
oh really?
It clearly states on the distributor's website, this is not for sale on any online platforms aside from where they have it for sale. So,
I also saw where Disney is going after the top Etsy sellers of Baby Yoda toys.
Disney's been doing that for years though on Etsy, and people keep doing it. People keep using. Chris and I talked about this a little bit before the show. People keep using licensed characters in their homemade stuff, which, I understand people do that, but then you can't offer it for sale. And Disney is badass about going after people.
Oh, yeah.
So,
dude, there was an article I read today.
What?
Where
That they canceled fucking Obi-Wan?
No. Where I guess he's a singer, a musician or something. Aaron Carter. A pop singer or something. Anyways, he's releasing a clothing line, and in the promotion of this clothing line, he used a piece of artwork that one of his fans had sent him. And this piece of artwork was done by this artist, I think over in Russia or someplace. Anyways, he didn't have permission to use the artwork. Like, didn't ask, didn't reach out, anything. So the artist, once he found out it was being used, which has had his artwork used illegally before, made a post on Twitter in reference to the guy, Aaron Carter, saying like, hey, you should reach out to me or something, you posted this without my permission, yada, yada. thinking that as a fellow person that makes a living off creativity, he would hear back from him. Instead, Aaron Carter responds back on Twitter basically saying, fuck you, take me to court. Like, you should be happy because I have all these fans and like now they're seeing your artwork, and was just like a total dick about it.
Guess whose artwork is going to become popular now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Independent of this singer.
He said that like it's so bad that like in the article, like him and a friend like went on a trip to like Tokyo or something like that and found one of his art pieces on clothing at a shop there on the street for sale.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And the dude's just 25, you know, cranking out all this artwork that people are stealing.
Right. And he's not, and like, he's not fucking goddamn Gene Simmons running around suing everybody.
Yeah.
You know, for every fucking goddamn, you right.
He just reached out on Twitter and was like, hey, you know,
like, hey man,
this belongs to me. I'm the creator. You need to hit me up.
That's fucking bullshit. You should definitely support people.
People steal artwork all the time. It's horrible in the art world.
Yeah,
they get stolen a lot.
But I'm saying anything. You know, if you're a creator of whatever, copyright infringement is a huge deal.
Yeah, you have the right to defend that shit.
Yeah,
sure.
And sometimes it becomes really difficult to do, especially like over the internet. And in this case, you know, you're talking about like.
Listen, I've had a great relationship with Fred Dunn over the years.
Yeah.
When I went to make a t-shirt with his artwork, I first reached out to him.
Yeah.
And said, Fred, are you okay with this? And he's like, dude, send me a shirt.
And this guy might have been the same way.
Yeah.
You know, if this singer had reached out to him and said, hey, can we use your artwork? The guy said, yeah. And the guy could have said, dude, just send me a shirt. You know? Yeah. And it would have been over.
Take care of me a little on the friggin' back end or something. Listen,
but not only that, but the guy didn't even like shout him out as the creator of the artwork.
Nothing.
I
mean, you know, something like that. Like, if I was to ever fucking sell a shit ton of Fred Dunn's fucking artwork on a shirt, you think my ass wouldn't be kicking him some fucking money?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. The man has done nothing but fucking give us great artwork for this show.
But I mean, the same hold true, you know, across any platform. I'm sure Aaron Carter wouldn't like it if somebody like sampled some of his music and used it and made money off of it.
Didn't give him any.
Aaron Carter had been all over that shit.
Yeah.
If it happened to him, you know he would.
Yeah, and that's too bad that you know, young artists are getting taken advantage of, but like that. That's wrong.
Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of the reason is because they know that this guy probably doesn't have a lot of cash to defend this in court. And that's.
Well, that was the thing. Like Aaron Carter, like made a joke because like the guy's Twitter post or whatever at the time had something like 17 likes. And he like pointed it out. Like you've got 17 likes.
That's something that I think needs to change. That's something that I think needs to definitely fucking change. This idea that if you have money, you can buy your way into fucking anything when it comes to the law. You know, tie people up in court, whatever the fucking case may be. When did the law stop mattering and how much money you can pump to a fucking goddamn lawyer in your defense mattered more? When did that change? I'm just curious.
Whenever people started getting paid for it.
Yeah, when lawyers became a thing.
Well, it's the system that makes them, you know,
right,
able to do the things that they're able to do. It's the system more so in any event. But when did that fucking happen? Because, you know, it's not about who is innocent or guilty. It's about who can pay somebody enough money to make it seem enough that they're not guilty when maybe they are.
Well, yeah, if you've got like a public defendant who's like handling the caseload of like everybody, you know, they've got like 20 cases that they're working at once. And then you have like some rich person that can afford like a team of like attorneys.
Yeah.
That has like a whole office complex doing research for them and working for them and everything. Like,
but based on how things happen in our society, man, that's valued more.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't get that, because that doesn't hold true to the idea of justice. You know, which is what those buildings are supposed to uphold, is justice. What are we upholding? I mean, that's what I don't understand anymore. And I know it's just a fucking, you know, it's one of those statements I'm just throwing out there, but it's just like, when fucking, it kind of baffles me. It's like, when did that happen to us? When did we just decide that it's more important that you spend a shit ton of money on attorneys than the, you know, what the actual thing is?
Well, not just attorneys, but whenever you, like, what are they called? Like the experts, you know,
Yeah.
like that's a business now, you know, and they have fees that they charge. And if you can pay the better expert to say what you want them to say for your argument, you can win the case, because
better for
the
you.
jury will listen to this person and they're a paid expert, you know, like
That's fucked up right there.
Yeah.
The paid expert thing. I've always thought that was fucked up. There should be no pay involved. Of course, you might not be able to get experts at that point, but
well, there's so much of it that needs to be looked at, I think, and it goes back to this thing that I've been saying for a long time, is that the system is fucking broken, and until we fucking take a really good, long, hard look at it, when we're just gonna sit in it. Like I said, you know, we got peanut butter and jelly. Guess what? So do you. You know, nobody's willing to change it. We're just all still making those peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, just shoving them in our fucking kids' faces. You know, this is the life we lived. Guess what? This is the fucking life you live. Here you go. Have fun. Enjoy. Yeah, maybe someday we'll pull our heads out of our asses, but I doubt it. I seriously fucking doubt it, because fucking the almighty dollar rules. The almighty fucking dollar just runs everything. And if you don't believe me, fucking just look at fucking Amazon.
I do every day. I love Amazon.
I'm glad you do, Steve. I'm glad you do. On that note, this has been the Fortean Slip, episode 119, Loch Ness 2020. If you like this shit, hit the little thumbs up button. If you don't, hit the little thumbs down button. Say congratulations to Matt on his team's win. He didn't do a fucking thing, but just say
I deserve it.
Check out Matt Knapp at youtube.com/bigfootcrossroads and youtube.com/cryptid tales. Check us out on Anchor at anchor.fm/the Fortean Slip. It still stands, people. If I can get 1,000 downloads on Anchor in a week before April, I will dye everything, head, beard, blue, and I'm not cutting anything until then either.
Share the shit out of the show off Anchor. I want to see this happen.
Yeah, I do too.
I want to be able to call him Bluebeard.
Check out our good friend Parabreakdown at youtube.com/Parabreakdown. You can check out his Dr. Johnson bullshit that he put on this week, which is
Cruising with Dr. J and Bubba.
Yeah, and Bubba. Yeah, that was a good time. And check out our good friend Dred Funn at dredfunn.com and youtube.com/Dred Funn. Next week, the return of Bronx Johnny. He is back from Ecuador, down visiting his wife, who is supposed to be joining him in the States, I believe, sometime soon.
So find something to do, Steve.
Yeah. So you can check him out on the Gas Digital Network, gasdigitalnetwork.com. And Johnny picked out something that he's going to teach us about.
Yes.
So we are going to have Bronx Johnny's School of Cryptozoology next week. And the week after, we will have the return of Steve Culls. We're going to do
Again?
Yeah, we're going to go over the freezer hoax, Steve.
Again?
We never really, well, we've talked about Rick Dyer, but we've never gone over like the whole course of events, like how it all went down. That we've never done, and I think that's basically what.
Pretty soon we're going to have to call Steve Culls special guest and promote Matt.
Oh no.
Matt will always be the special guest.
I wouldn't know what to do if I ever had a promotion.
Until then, see ya.